All right, so in 112, if you remember, we stopped at step 8. So I need everybody to look at their MIT App Inventor, and hopefully you've placed your labels. Hopefully you have your labels underneath here. To get a label, it's right here in User Interface, Label. And you click and drag, and you're going to drop it down here under your canvas. The next thing you need to do, this is just going to say label. This is just going to say label. You're going to have to rename it. You're going to rename one location label, and you're going to rename one accelerometer label. To rename something, you click what you want to rename. You click rename, and then you type the name in there. The reason you have to put an underscore in between the words is because it does not accept spaces. Spaces are not accepted in coding. Yes, ma'am. No, this is 112, number 8. Yes, sir.
In my face?
No, I didn't know you were standing there.
Ms. Williams, don't talk to him.
No, I'm not.
Whatever this is. Don't
Boy,
talk
shut the
to
fuck up. You always
Dude, that's
So we have 2 labels down here we have to rename. Under AI components, you click the label you want to rename, and you're going to rename it by clicking rename. Now you also need to have over here in text on the property side under text. You also need to name the component down here also. You've got to do it in both places or you're going to get all messed up later on in working. I'm sorry? So one of them is location label. The other one is accelerometer label. Location, accelerometer. That's right here in number 8. It says in the properties panel, rename the labels. Suggested names are location label and accelerometer label. Now, like I say, my dyslexia kicks in when I'm looking at this, so that's why I put the underscore in there, because it's a personal thing to me. I don't like words running together. It makes them too difficult to read. So that's step number 8. Step number 9 says math the width and height of the canvas. Well, we've already done that. When we made our canvas larger, we've already done that. Mm-hmm. So we did that before. Now we're going to go over to the blocks view. So click blocks view on the top right. Let me get rid of these so you can't see them. Let me get rid of these. I just fed them to Oscar the Grouch. That's what I call my little trash can, Oscar the Grouch. Before you switch over to the blocks view, come up to properties and click save project so you don't lose the work in case this crashes on the designer side. So now we're in blocks. Now we're in blocks, and it says switch to number 10, switch to blocks view. Number 11, click the accelerometer sensor 1. Here is the accelerometer sensor 1. It's telling you exactly what you need to do. And in this case, it's the very first one. When the accelerometer sensor dot acceleration changed, X, Y, and Z axles do, this is the control panel you want. You okay? Not real loud. Okay, so we're here. So you need your control block right here that says when accelerometer sensor 1 dot acceleration changed with the X, the Y, and the Z axle do. Our next step says click the accelerometer label. Label. So we're going to go to the accelerometer label, click it. We need to get a set. Quite honestly, the way MIT App Inventor set up, you can grab any one of the sets and change this drop down in the second half. You're going to need text. So accelerometer set text. So step 12, click the accelerometer and drag the set accelerometer label .text block into the event handler. That's what I just did. 13, look at the event handler. You see that there's 3 orange blocks. This is your event handler or your control block. If you, these are variables. These little orange things right here, these are variables. What you need in this case is you need an X variable get. You need to get your X accelerometer location, attach that to the end of the dark green that says set accelerometer label to text, and get the accelerometer information. All right, so we just did that. Now, to test your app, hold the tablet panel. Well, you know what? We haven't done that yet. So raise your hand if you remembered to download the app to your cell phone last class for program 111. Okay? You didn't? All right. That's how you test it. You have to, so whenever it says test, that's how you're going to test it to make sure it works, is through the MIT App Inventor compatible panel that is on the app that's on your cell phone. So you have to go into your Play Store. No. Continue without Wi-Fi.
No.
Yeah.
Now, then press what?
You're going to press scan QR code. So when you're testing it, you have to go to Connect on your computer, click AI Companion. You're going to scan this code with your MIT App Inventor app. It says scan code. You're going to scan this code, and you're going to test. So you won't be able to see my cell phone, but you'll be able to see what happens on the screen. You tap scan QR code. You scan it. With your phone, you have to have the app. This is what you'll see on your computer when it's connecting to your phone. Now, I can't show you on my phone. Well, I probably could. So I connected. I don't know if this will work or not. I don't know if this will work, but let me try. Not at all. You have to download it to your phone, MIT App Inventor. MIT. So this is what it looks like when you get down. For some reason, my happy face is all elongated, but that doesn't bother me. And then you can see the numbers moving at the bottom. That's your x-axis moving. Hopefully that was recorded. So if you have your happy face and you have movement in your accelerometer space, then you know that it's ready to go. All right, next step. And then when you disconnect, this is the error, this is the message that you get, network disconnected. So what else do you think that we need to get? What else do you think we need to get? What's the other label we have on here? Anyone? What's the other label? Location label. So click the location label. You're going to repeat your steps. You're going to grab set. You're going to change background color to text. And you're going to get the y-axis. And then you're going to add that right underneath your set right there. So our next step after we've done this, we're going to go to data types. We're going to discuss data types. In your computer science notebook, write this down, this chart right here. Data types, integer to, float, what's a float, strings, what's a string with an example, reproduce, rewrite this right here in your computer science notebook right now. I'm going to give you about 5 minutes to get that done. This is one more reminder. I see a lot of individuals doing what they're not supposed to be doing. Right here, get your notebooks out, data type, all of this. Write this down in your notebooks right now. Do not take a picture of it. This is in your PLTW that you're supposed to have open, because you cannot follow the instructions unless the instructions are opened. This is what you're writing down in your notebook from your directions.
Why would you?
All right, so now that you've had plenty of time to put this in your engineering notebook, you need this in your engineering notebook. Here's a career connection about, here's information. You gotta, right here. Anytime you see the pencil, you need to be making notes in your notebook. Honey, you don't know how to get to what? Honey, you were just on it.
No, I wasn't. You never showed me.
Look, you were right here. I have showed you many times. Right here, this button that says blocks.
I clicked on it. It's not. I did it on it. It's not coming.
Do you have all of these labels right here? Do you have your designer screen? This is a problem. I have people telling me they don't have it. If you do not if you have not followed the instructions in your PLTW as you're walking through it, and you don't have all this information exactly how it needs to be in the instructions, you are not going to have anything over here. You are not going to have this to be able to do this. You cannot just go straight to the blocks. You must read the directions and follow them step by step. So number 16 says you're going to add a join block. Add a join block. So right here, it wants us to take out, we're working with our accelerometer label. We're working with just this one right here. So pull this, says get X axle, pull that out, and you're going to go, we need a join block. So what do you think what do you think it is? Is it a text box? Look at that. It's right here. See the colors? Here's another clue as you're working along. MIT App Inventor and PLTW, and yes, this is MIT, the university, and PLTW have worked together So each one of these different items has a different color associated with it to help you. You need this join right here. You're going to take this join and you're going to put it at the end. This little purple box with a white cog in it is called a mutator button. When you click the mutator button and open it up, you're going to get this little picture right here. You're going to get this right here, and it says, this is to join different strings of text together, different strings of information. So you're going to grab this string, and to add strings, you just grab this, drag one over. You could have 20 strings in a program maybe. So we need to find out how many we need.
6.
We need 6. Oh, look at that right here in B. B drags 6 string blocks into the join block. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then just click anywhere in the white surface. So now we have 6. Add 3 text string blocks from the text drawer. Okay, right here. Here's the text drawer. This is a text block. This little guy right here is a text block. We need 3. So there's 1. Make sure you put them in with an empty space in between each one. So we have 3 strings right here, and this is what you should be typing into it. X-axis. It acts for, so put an underscore in the front. By putting an underscore in front of the statement, it puts a space in between it. So shift, underscore, type X-axis, that's an S. X dash axis, colon, underscore. You're going to do the same thing in this one, but it's going to be a y-axis. Look, here's something else you can do too. Don't tell anybody I'm telling you how to do this.
What's the color?
Then you need a Z, then you're going to put a Z-axis in here. So look, you can do that, not that, but you can click in here. See how it turns blue? Control C makes a copy. Control V is pasting. Click behind the Y, change that to a Z. So that's step 18. What do you think? Somebody give me a guess. What's going to go in these empty spots right here? What's going to go in those empty spots? Dylan, what's going to go in these empty spots in our string? What's going to go in these empty spaces right here?
He said he can't see.
Can't see? Do you have this on your screen? What do you think? Do you have your textbook open? What do you think is going to go in there? Number 19 right here. From the accelerometer sensor 1 dot acceleration changed event handler, this guy right here. Get the blocks and put them where they belong. So under our X is going to go our X, get our X. Under our Y is going to get our Y. And under our Z is going to get our Z. Okay. At this point, it says test your app. So you can test your app and see if this all shows up. So that's where you're at. Test your app and then come back to the video. All right, step 21, it says in the math drawer, there's a built-in block to make a float number become an integer. The block is a common math term. Find that block and use it to modify your program. So math. So which one do you think we need? Which one?
Miss Williams, can I get a bit?
Can I go
So what do we do? What do we do with a math number that if we're going to change a number, if we're going to change it to a float? There's a built-in block to change it to a float. What do you think that is? Which one do you think we need? In the math drawer, there's a built-in block to make a float number become an integer. We're going to round. So we need a round.
How do you get added no passwords?
I
By
don't
never
know. The
coming
no
back to
pass
class.
Folks, I'm recording.
Recorded what?
the assignment, bro. Use up, right, bro. Come on, bro. I'm surprised you know.
Nigga, I go back to class.
You see Baby Moon?
I see you. I see you.
There we go. So now we've just added a rounding number that's going to round those decimals into an exact number.
Good afternoon, staff and students. We are
No.
Review Garden Dreams, Empowered Through Education.
Okay, so right now in number 23, we want to go to projects and save project. So let's go to project and let's save project. Because we want to save this. Now we're going to do save as, and we're going to title it version 2. And then we're going to title it version 2, V2. So you go back to projects, you go to save project as, and instead of copy, click behind here, just take out the word copy, leave that underscore there, and type V2. And then click OK. We go back to our home screen, and I want to show you something that is not in projects, but you can see we have V2 here. We can go over to blocks. Okay, we've just done this. Under projects, select save as, title it version 2, and I wanted to show you something that you can do if you want to. You don't have to, but sometimes.
No track practice. No.
Apologies for that interruption. So you can come up here and you can get a text box and just pull it out. Or there is, in another program that we're going to use, there's going to be a box called comments, and you can use that. So in this text box, it does not have to be attached to anything. And you can just kind of put it wherever. Don't attach it or it will print out. And you can just write what you need to have in there. So this is, I'm going to put today's date, which is the 3rd. And I'm going to put version 2 starting at step 23. And I do that so that I kind of have a placeholder so I know where I'm at. All right, so let's move down to, remember, here's your career connections. Read this. And our happy face location. This is where we're going to use our location label. So now we're going to click the location label and drag the set location label .text. Well, we already did. I'm going to add that right there. Get him out of the way. Connect a concatenation block to the location label text block to display a message to the user about the location of the happy face image on the canvas, such as X coordinate 55 and Y coordinate 98. Before I show you anything else, how do you think you need to do that? So this right here, just to clarify, this is what these directions are showing you what it should say, what you should be able to read on the front. So how do you think we can do that? So here's our coordinates. What do you think we need to put right here? I'm going to pull that out for a second because we don't need that right now. What do you think we need? So now that I gave you a few minutes, and I hope you paused your video so that you could take a look at what you think you might need here. I'm going to give you some help. So you need a join. So we go to text, we get our join. We're going to put our join right here. And your coordinates for your happy face image, you're going to call them happy.x and happyimage.y. We need, let's put in 6 strings again. We may not need them, we may need them, but it's better to have them than not have them. So let's go back to our text box. Let's grab one of our texts right here. And right here it says happyimage.x. So we're going to type happy. Let's put a space in front of that. Oh, we need an underscore. Remember, no actual spaces. Underscores represent spaces. And we need our X. We need an X. Get an X. Let's put that right there. Now we need another text. And we're going to put that right here. And what's our other one? We need happyimage.y. So click in there, do a shift, do an underscore, happyimage.y. Oh, did I forget? I think I forgot an underscore in there. Yep. Make that a capital Y. And then let's put that get Y. I'm going to leave these two here for now because we might need those, we might not. Depends upon what we want to do in our code. So play with adding different numbers or spaces in different locations inside the parentheses of the text blocks. Make the location label coordinates appear neatly. So these are our coordinates. Test your app. Let me get my phone. Let me test it. Let's see what happens. You come up to Connect, AI Companion. Make sure that You can scan the QR code with your cell phone. And my happy face, my happy images, I can see where my X and my Y coordinates are. Again, I don't know if, I won't know until I run the video, but there you go. There's my coordinates. They're out of focus, but you can see them moving. And that's me moving. Okay, so I'm going to disconnect. And I'm going to go back over. Hopefully you were able to see that. I'm going to go back over here. Actually, the easiest thing to do is do that. Click OK. All right. So I tested my app, and yes, I can see my numbers. But is my happy face moving? He was not. So that's a troubleshoot that we have to figure out. Remember, anytime you see these hints in your document, in your online text, click X, click that, and you can open it up. So you can switch to the designer view and click on the happy image in number 00 for the XY coordinates. Let's try that. Let's click our happy image. And if we click 0, what happened? He disappeared. Well, I don't know where he is. He's gone. So let me try this. Let me go back to 198. Let's do 189. There he is. He's back in the middle again. So he just totally went off the board when I did 00. Okay. So right here in the center, pretty much center, you can see my X is 180 and my Y is 194. What if I did my Y as 200? He just moved down a little. What if I did my X as 200? He moved to the right a little bit. So this is where you're going to set your XY right here. That's going to be in a continuation. So let's go back over to blocks. Procedures, making the happy image move. The happy image sprite move. So to do this, you're going to add a procedure to the when accelerometer sensor 1 accelerometer changed event. Accelerometer sensor. Here's our accelerometer 1 changed event. We already have that here. This is our control block. The procedure will place the happy image at the last given XY coordinate given by our accelerometer. Make sure that you are reading this. Here's your vocabulary. Calling a procedure. Here's your definition for calling a procedure. I already had this open, so that's why it says hide. This is a graph if it's talking about XYs. This is an example of what your code should look like if you're doing a draw line. So we need to click on our happy image sprite and pull the move to. So we're going to click on our happy image. When happy face, we need to find the one that says click on the happy image sprite and the dot move to. So let's see if we can find a dot move to. Right here. XY, call happy face dot move to. For those of you that are wondering why I insisted on making sure in your designer mode you not only had your blocks named here, but you also had them named in their properties, the exact same thing that they're named in your components, this is why. If you did not have these things named and it just said label 1, label 2, label 3, you wouldn't know. You would not know what's what. So you've got to remember to name all your components, the correct names. All right, that's a sidestep message. Okay, so we have our happy image.move to call block into the accelerometer sensor changed. Remember that it all goes in here because it's all working together this time. We need to click on the accelerometer sensor 1 drawer, accelerometer sensor 1 right here. We have to drag in the get accelerometer sensor 1 dot X accelerometer. So where are we going to, what are we looking for? What are we looking for? We are looking for a get. No, that says when. These are add-ons. That says set. Let's go find our gets. Do we have a get in here? We don't have a get. So what do? Are we in the right place? We're in the accelerometer sensor drawer. Right there. What about right here? There's our gets. There's our gets. You're going to find in any instructions, you're going to have to figure them out sometimes. So I want to check my code, and I want to make sure that I actually do have the correct XY under my happy face move to. You're not going to hurt anything when you try your code, and it's going to give you some information, whether you know it or not, about being able to debug your code. That's the only way you're going to try it, to learn if you're doing it right, if you have it coded in such a way that it's going to work. And again, I don't know if you can see this or not, but look at my happy face. He's stuck all the way up in the top corner. And then you see my numbers down here. They're just rotating, rotating, rotating. Okay? So I don't think my code's working right. So let's go check our instructions again and find out if I have it correct. So let's see. 28, happy image sprite, and pull the move to. I got that. And then it says accelerometer sensor changed event handler. So we know it's not these because it's not working correctly. So let's go back into the accelerometer sensor and let's take a look at this. Accelerometer sensor 1. Oh, look at this. Let's take a look. Let's put our X in there. Let's do that again. And let's put a Y in there. Let's change that to Y. And let's put that there. So you notice that having these two empty joins didn't hurt the program at all. So let's take a look. The happy image moves along the x-axis by changing the x value of the y image based on the x accelerometer value. A lot of math in here. That's why you've got it. This is just math language. And that's why you've got to pay attention to what you're doing. And in this lesson, this is going to go away when we get farther ahead. It's actually asking me to check my codes. So it's giving me a code right here. This is very small. It's hard for you to see on my screen. But Here you go. So let's see. So what can we change in this that is still here? We could add our rounds. We could add a round right here and a round right here. This is just an ending block. You really don't need it. They put it there as a placeholder. And let's see. So let's look here. So our happy image move to, call our happy face move to, and we have the correct blocks in there now. So a couple of things we can do to change to make it is we can add a round right here. So let's go back into our math. And we're going to go to our round. We're going to grab our round. And we're going to put it right there. And then we're going to do it again. And you notice how this is why they're called blocks, the puzzle pieces. As long as they match, they'll click together right away. Let's see here. So where else are we? We're here on accelerometer. We can actually click this mutator and we can get rid of these two strings. There's one, don't need that, don't need that. This should be in your computer science notebook, arithmetic operator, relational operator, and logical operator. These are also on your vocabulary. Oh, did we just finish with that? Well, we did. So we're in operators now. Do these little quizzes. They're just little flashcards. So for the dot move to procedure, what would happen if you took the current X value of the happy image and added the X accelerometer value to it? Every time the accelerometer sense change along the x-axis, it would add or subtract from the current x value, thus changing the location of the x-axis based on the tilt of the device on the axis to create image movement based on device tilt. It's a big paragraph for saying that you're going to see a result every time you move your phone with the game on it. So make sure you do these. They're helpful. Here's a reminder. The accelerometer returns integers from -10 to 10. So sometimes the program adds the value and sometimes it subtracts, just like we do in regular math. Now for step 30, it says add to the move.to, that's this one. Add to the move.to procedure with blocks from the math happy image and the math, happy image, and accelerometer drawers. Consider the focus of the blocks to know which drawer to find them in. So if we open this up, it's not telling us what goes in here, but I'm pretty sure that these two right here are these two right here. So now we need to figure out what needs to go in the front. We have a clue right here with a math mutator button. Here's a math mutator button. So we're adding these. If you look right here, it's given us another clue. We're adding. So let's grab two of these. 1 and 2. Let's grab two of those. Now I'm fairly certain this is going to fit in one of these spots, and this is going to fit in one of these spots. This is a time I want you to stop and think. I'm going to pause the recording. You come back when you're ready. Because these are going to go right here. These, you have to figure out what's going to, in which spot they're going to go into. And then you have to figure out then you have to figure out what is going to go in the other space. So I'm going to pause the video, and you take some time. You pause also. Take some time. See if you can figure that out. Okay. Welcome back. And hopefully you took a look at it to see where and what you could do. So if we look right here, test your code, there are two options, and I know some of you already searched all the way down so that you could take a look and see what was what. So there's two options in here about testing your code. In one option for adding our code, we have our mutator here, and we need to tell it what we're looking for right here. So we need our happy face, and we're going to scroll, and we're going to find happy face dot, and we want to find happy face dot x. Happy face dot x. That's going to go in this first space. In this one, we can go back to happy face. And we need to find the one that says happy face dot y. That goes there. If we just take these and put them in here, do you think this will work? Yes or no? Not sure? Let's feed these to Oscar the Grouch. So I'm going to test my code. You test your code also. So again, I don't know if if this recording is picking up what my happy face is doing, but you can see every time I move, now that I've added those other blocks in there, my happy face is moving. In the next lesson, we're going to change our code up a little bit in version 3 or in 1.13. And you're going to program, you're going to program and code so that every time this happy face hits a wall, a beep goes off and the game is over. Because the purpose of the game is to keep your happy face in the middle. And you'll notice, I know it's blurry, but you'll notice that my numbers are changing. It tells you where it is on the screen at the bottom, where my x-axis and my y-axis is. Hopefully you can see that. If not, I'll make another recording. All right, we're back. There is another option, and I want to show this to you. It's not necessary. This code is enough right here to make sure that it's working. There is another option that you can place in your X and your Y on the happy face, and I can show that individually if you'd like to see it. This is enough right here for you to turn in and check it, make sure it works, because if it doesn't work, you're not going to get full credit. You need to have everything. You need to debug. You need to debug, identify errors, and fix them. You need to debug. You can take a look at your two separate options here. They're not, they do have some additional codes. This is an absolute basic, simple accelerometer game code of balancing your happy face in the middle. Take a look at these on your own and do your check for understanding There's only 3 questions. These are conclusion questions. I would like you to write write answers to these in your computer science notebook. Now, how do you submit this? I did another video, but I'm going to add it to the end of this one also. I'm going to show you directions. The very first thing you need to do is you need to come up to project and you need to save project. You'll get a little code up here that'll tell you that your project was saved, the date and the time. If you do not have your last name, first initial, class period, underscore, the lesson 112 underscore version 2, then you go to projects and you go to save as, and then you make sure you type that in. I don't need to because mine's fine, but you make sure you type it in. Remember, last name, first initial, class period, space. For coding, you have to do an underscore. 112, your lesson number that you're working, that you're turning in, and then anything else that's necessary behind it. And then click OK so you can save that. This is due. You will have to do this as homework on your own using this video and your notes. Open your PLTW. Remember, you get to your PLTW through Clever. So sign into Clever, go to your Project Lead the Way online textbook. You are going to finish lesson 112, do the activity. This is the whole activity. You have 2 videos now to be able to do this entire activity. Watch the first one first so that you can get all the steps through 8 on that video. All right, make sure you do this because you have to have this finished to be able to do the next lesson. Thank you.